wife, but let me tell you something. Being a wife is making sure you have the soap powder. The wife is making sure you might throw those clothes in the washing machine. Being a wife is not coming to pick up your drawers after you. That is
not. Who said you had to pick up the drawers? That's what said y'all want to go do it. This is my point here with that. Yeah. We always act like that's such a big thing. Like, I know, especially for the women. Wait a minute. Especially for the women that got kids. Y'all should be cleaning the house anyway. Y'all should be cooking anyway. So you cook.
Great catch. I'm a great wife. I'm a great this. And it's like that hasn't been validated.
All these single girls are yours too. I don't know.
The one thing that I'm seeing is that when you're dealing with a grown-ass man,
there it is.
He has a vision and a purpose for his life.
Facts.
What he wants in the future. And what I see is that a lot of these modern women don't want to fall into and play their part in that purpose and in that vision because they have their own purpose and their own vision. I think where a lot of women get it confused. Not your responsibility to motivate a man.
Right.
A man should have his own motivation, his own direction. Your job is to inspire. It's a complete difference. I think a lot of ladies get a man.
Was good. Man, we had to get the impromptu cake combos popping today. What's going on with everybody? Appreciate you hopping on with us, man. Last minute, said conversation just needed to be had. Let me so we got hopping in real quick.
Thursday.
Man, so what's good, man? Oh, you went off camera.
How are you, sir? I didn't know I was on camera. How's everything?
We doing good. How you doing, man?
Good. About to head to the gym, but I said I'll jump on with y'all for a minute.
Okay, yeah, we ain't gonna be on this on here that long, man. We just gotta get into this real quick, man.
All right,
for sure. Shout out to everybody joining us today. Like I said, I know this is spur of the moment, as they say, impromptu, but I saw something today that that triggered this conversation right here, and I'm like, we got to go ahead and have it. So let me do this real quick. Well, I think we got that already. Okay. All right, we got that already. All right, cool. So we're gonna get right on into this. I said we ain't gonna be on here all night. It's gonna be a quickie. So yeah, we talking tonight. Just on the quick, I'm gonna mute you for a second, Vince. So we talking tonight just for a minute. Yeah, we just talking real simple. Women ruin the dating scene. Straight like that. Women ruin the dating scene. So I dropped this post today. You know what I'm saying? I know some folks probably a little hot. You know what it is, but we gotta call it what it is. Shout out to Kenyatta in the building. She said, hey, what's going on with you? Appreciate you hopping on with us last minute. But yeah, I dropped this comment today because I saw a video. Shout out to Aisha. She dropped a video earlier. And just got me thinking about this thing. And I'm like, we got to go and keep it real. So I'm going to drop this video. We're going to get on. Well, actually, I got two, but I'm going to drop this one that really got this popping.
You
This bill is only $115, and he telling me to pay for my own food. And you brought me here.
It's only $50.
But so what? It's the point. You brought me here. Why would I pay for my own food? I got money, but
It say 3 Long Island on here. I didn't even have a Long Island.
Okay, but you asked me what do I drink. I didn't know I was paying for my own stuff.
I mean, I had the transportation.
I'm gonna just pay for my own stuff. I don't even care. I can't believe this, y'all. This is real. Like, this is... He's really...
I had the transportation.
He really telling me to pay for...
It costs like $30 in gas to come out here.
$115. And I gotta pay for my own food. I might as well pay for it all. I wanna ask you something. If you went out to eat with a dude, if a dude brought you out to eat, and he said, are you paying for your own stuff? Wouldn't you be like...
Me personally, that happened to me before.
It happened to me before too, and it's happening right now. I'm about to pay the whole thing because it's like, I want you to know that I got money.
I mean, that's what you want to do.
Just I'll pay the whole thing. Are you gonna at least tip her? You gonna tip her?
Bro, I told you I didn't.
Okay. So that's the first one. So I saw that video today. Well, I said, shout out to Aisha. She posted that earlier. Saw the video and it got me thinking. I got another one too, but I saw the video and it got me thinking. And it really had me thinking, and I'm really wondering, let's say this question really was to the ladies. Do the ladies understand that they have ruined the dating scene? Yeah, do they understand that? Better yet, are they willing to take some accountability around what we are now seeing in this dating scene? So yeah, like I said, let me just preface this by saying the video that was posted could be a skit, right? But clearly, for anybody in the D, you know, these folks is at Fishbones downtown. So this boy right around, this boy in our backyard. She out with a brother, and my man is looking for her to pay for some of her stuff, talking about some Long Islands and so forth. She's blown away by the fact that he asking her to put on the bill or go Dutch, however you want to call it. And I said, I know at the end of the day the situation is funny, but truly it's not. Yeah, this is some of what we are seeing today. And I'm just trying to figure out, do folks really understand, or are they ready to own some of how we got here? So I'm gonna go to y'all real quick, see what y'all say. Listen, I'm gonna do the other video in a minute, but Chloe, Vince. So y'all just saw that first one. What y'all see, man? What y'all thinking, man? Go let it loose, man. Cause I got some stuff I gotta say too. Either one. Go ahead, Vince.
I think it was a skit though, but I think that this younger generation, our society, they're trying to use people, you know, and I think that men have gotten hip and gotten smart and understood that, you know what, I don't need to spend all this money because I know the next man's not doing that. But right. I kind of fought him too, because why would you invite a young lady out to dinner and not pay the bill? But then also these ladies will try to run up the bill on you. I told you it happened to me one time, but I was just a gentleman, and that was just our last date, because I told you the starter situation where she got the surf and turf on our first date, which, you know, I just thought it was rude and really didn't like, you know, she lacked class. It's like, if this your best meal of the month, then I'm glad I was able to do that for you.
Right. I hear that.
Yeah, so, you know.
Okay, let me do this real quick. Donovan say he missed. I'm gonna run it back real quick for you, Donovan, real quick.
This bill is only $115, and he telling me to pay for my own food. And you brought me here.
It's only $50.
But so what? It's the point. You brought me here. Why would I pay for my own food? I got money, but
it say 3 Long Island on here. I didn't even have a Long Island.
Okay, but you asked me what do I drink. I didn't know I was paying for my own stuff.
I mean,
And
I had the transportation.
I'm gonna just pay for my own stuff. I don't even care. I can't believe this, y'all. This is real. Like, this is. He's really.
I had the transportation.
He really telling me to pay for.
It costs like $30 in gas to come out here.
$115. And I gotta pay for my own food. I might as well pay for it all. I wanna ask you something. If you went out to eat with a dude, if a dude brought you out to eat, and he said, "Are you paying for your own stuff?" Wouldn't you be like?
Me personally, that happened to me before.
It happened to me before too, and it's happening right now. I'm about to pay the whole thing because it's like I want you to know that I got money.
I mean, that's what you want to do.
Just I'll pay the whole thing. Are you gonna at least tip her? You gonna tip her?
Bro, I told you I didn't.
All right. So that was the run back right there. All right, you want to say something, Chloe? You good?
When he said, y'all, I mean, I got the transportation. I kiki, y'all. I for real kiki. This is definitely giving skit, but I guess for me, here's the thing. Like, first of all, he should have made his intentions known. Let's use it as a case study. It's a skit most likely, so let's just use it as a case study, right? Always make your intentions known up front. Like if you're inviting somebody out to dinner, honestly, as a man, if you invite me out, I am going to expect you to pay because you asked me to come. If you need any other arrangement, like you want us to go Dutch or whatever, then you need to say that up front. Don't wait till the bill comes and then, say, let's split the bill. Second of all, I told y'all, this is the only area, one of the only areas where I do feel like we need to match energy. If we go out to dinner and he's footing the bill and he gets one drink, ladies, don't get three. Don't get three. Come on. If the man invited you out and you know he's going to pay the bill, like Vince said, this is not your opportunity to run up a check. And I've seen it happen. I have seen women do this to men in my presence. And if we want to talk about men have ruined the dating scene, but ladies, let's talk about the part that we play. Maybe some of the reason why men are not as comfortable to spend money or want to take you out on a really nice date the very first time he meets you is because he's probably got burned before. Y'all know it's women out here that will literally, like Vince said, run up a check on a dude that they barely know because they see this as an opportunity for them to go get a nice dinner. And I guess my question is, if y'all out here boss chicken, like y'all say y'all boss chicken, where your money at? Why you go out with a man and act like you ain't never been nowhere before? Let me get 5 drinks. Can you give me the Casa Azul? I want a shot of that. Oh, I eat surf and turf. All I eat is seafood. I don't eat anything else because I'm vegan. And vegan is not eating seafood, by the way, ladies. That's pescatarian if you want to get technical. But all of a sudden, you get extra bougie when you spending somebody else's money. So we want to talk about the dating scene being ruined. Let's actually talk about the part that both parties are playing in this because, from where I see it, women are the ones that are putting the unrealistic expectations on the date itself. Women are the ones saying, I can only do this. I don't want to go here. It has to be this way. All of that, that's coming from the woman's side. So now what do y'all have to say about that? Because men are not the ones saying, oh, well, we go out. I want to take you here, do this, do that. All men are saying is, if I'm just meeting you, can we do something low key? I'm meeting you for the first time. Can we do something low key? Can it be coffee? Can it be just drinks? Can it be something low key? Because the last thing a man wants you to do is run through his pockets and he just met you and don't even know if y'all even compatible. I think that's a reasonable request. And for any woman that has a problem with that, you need to check yourself because it's absolutely a reasonable request for a man to say, I just met you. Can we do something low key? I don't see the problem.
Okay, that's real. Let me get this comment from Valencia in the building. She said, oh, I don't normally chime in. Well, V, you got to chime in. She said, but I have definitely seen some situations with friends that made me think, damn, this is why some of these guys are basically some of these guys do the way that they do. No, that's real. That's real. Appreciate that comment. Appreciate that comment right there. Let's see. Aisha, she said, definitely wait until he asks if you want another drink. Okay. Seems simple. Let's see. Donovan said there's a line between being considerate and taking advantage. No, that's facts. Definitely a line right there. Let's see. We got Keenan in the building. He said, hear me out. I put some blame on Ratchet TV. LOL, loving hip hop and Real Housewives. Some women get wrapped up in that ish. No, that's true as well. I said, we know social definitely plays a part in, some of these things that we see out here. But yeah, no, I wanted to have this conversation, let's say, because when I saw this video, it just kind of drove it home. And like I said, sometimes I just wonder, do ladies realize the piece, or do they want to own the piece that they play in this? Yeah, like I said, we've done done a show about this before, had this conversation somewhat before. And it talks about, we talked about ladies talking too much or talking themselves out of things. And this situation, this video right here, it just kind of gets back into that space or that mindset, right? Yep. The reason why I say that ladies definitely gotta own a piece of this problem, is because at the end of the day, this wasn't going on in the past. Yep. And what I mean by that is these guys, they ain't had no problem going out. They didn't have no problem taking y'all out, spending all type of money on y'all, taking y'all to the 5-star restaurants, running up the tab, as they say. Like, they didn't have no problem doing it. But see, now guys are questioning that. Yep, and they're questioning that because of some of the actions and the mindset that we've taken on in this process. Yep, I've heard situations with some of these young ladies going out to the club deliberately with no money. Yep, going out to the restaurants deliberately with no money, hoping that some guy is going to buy them drinks. And that's how they plan to go through the night. That's not a smart move. Yeah, but to see if guys know that type of stuff is happening, and they know it's happening as it relates to their pockets, they're going to pull back. Yep, they just going to pull back. Yeah, we got a lot of situations out here where young ladies are going on dates with these guys, knowing good and well they ain't got no real intentions with this guy. They literally going to get a free meal. Yep, guys are catching on to that. So now they pulling back their resources, they pulling back their money. Yep, this is the evolution of the coffee date that the ladies say that they don't like. It's like we got to start thinking about some of our actions and how that plays into these situations that we're dealing with now. Like I said, this wasn't a thing in the past. If dudes was blowing all type of bags, they didn't care. Yep, they was going out, spending time with you, kicking it, getting to know you, have whatever you want to call it. But see, now because of what's going on in this environment that we've created, now guys are questioning all of these things. Yep, I've seen examples of young ladies telling the dude where he gonna take her, how much he gonna spend, and all of this. And I'm like, come on now, ladies. What man you think in his right mind is gonna be okay with you telling him how and when and where he gonna spend his money at? Let's be honest about that. Because ladies, y'all know y'all would have a fit if some dude was telling y'all where y'all gonna spend y'all money and how y'all gonna spend y'all money. But for some reason, we got ladies who feel like they can do that with a man. So once again, we got to think about what we're doing, and that's going to really, shed light on what we're seeing right now. Let me get some of these comments real quick. Valencia said, let's see, a guy spent a lot of money on my friend, and she knew she did. Here we go. She knew she didn't want to date this guy. Then he got possessive, and she was like, I'm not his woman. He spent the grip on you in 2 weeks. Don't accept all of that, and you don't even like that man. That's my point. That's my point. Yep, and see, what we don't realize is that's going to essentially damage that man for the next woman who comes along who's serious. See, now she's not going to be able to get that reciprocation, or she's not going to be able to get that engagement because this dude has been played over by some female who wasn't even serious about him. She just extracted his money out of him. So now I appreciate that comment right there. See, Donovan said a lot of these ladies don't realize ratchet ain't it. No, that's a whole nother point, man. A whole nother topic. See, Valencia says some women expect it, not saying thank you for a nice date. A lot of entitlement. Once again, it's true. Mm-hmm. That's very true. See, I see V, you've been seeing all type of stuff I see. But this is some of the same stuff we see as well. See, Donovan said ladies looking for a guy with money, and when he ain't buying, they call the guy broke. Deflection 101. Yep, we hear that too. See, Aisha said men are still dating and downing money. I'm just noticing they're being more selective. No, and that's definitely happening. Yep, great point, Aisha. Fellas are definitely being more selective. But what also is going to happen in that process, though, is some of the ladies who are serious, they're going to get looked past. Because see, now guys got to sift through which ones are serious and which ones are not. And that's where the problem comes in. Before, guys, they just roll with all of it. The serious ones, the non-serious ones, the ones who was on the fence, they was cutting the check. But now it's going to change. Yep, it's going to change. This is real talk. Did you want to say something, Chloe? You good?
Yeah, right before. I know you're about to play the other video, but I just wanted to say before we got into that, this is why I often say to women, just remain in your feminine frame. I know that it's, it's the thing to do, right? So I got my own money, like even in the video, she's like, oh, I got my own money. I can just pay for this whole check. And it's like, we get it. Like ladies, some of us are doing very well for ourselves, and that's awesome. I love the progress that we made as a gender. But at the same time, I think it's just made some of us really hard. And now it's really it's hard for us to be humble, where we can be just as prideful as some of these men that we're walking around calling toxic, right? We can be just as prideful. And in this situation, the man asked her to pay half. He didn't ask her to pay the whole bill. Well, I get it. I mean, I can. But now it's about me making you feel some type of way because you asked me to pay half, so I'm going to pay the whole thing, right? And ladies, let's consider this, because this is part of the reason why men are like, well, I don't have to do this for women anymore. Women want to be equal. Women say they got it. Women say they don't need men. So men are just not doing the same things that they used to do for women before, because a lot of us have talked ourselves out of it. This is why I say ladies need to learn the spirit of the hush. Be quiet. Be able to receive, because men actually are naturally givers, but you have to be willing to, be open to receive. And not always, like Val saying, be so entitled that you feel like you now need to tell him what he needs to do for you, when really you should just be in a position of being appreciative and thankful, because that attitude is going to get you a lot farther, and men are going to be willing to do a whole lot more. And I think that that's the key takeaway for us as women. Like, in a way, our attitudes have put men in a position where they just don't feel like they need to do it anymore, and they don't want to. It's less desirable to. So, if we want to talk about who ruined the dating scene, I mean, ladies.
Well, see, that's the thing. I said, are the ladies going to admit that piece? Yeah, but at the end of the day, are they going to admit that piece? Are they going to own their piece of this problem that we are dealing with right now? Yeah, I know we be talking about this pee in the dating pool and all this stuff, but it's like, are you going to own your piece of the pee? Let's keep it a buck. Are you going to own your piece of the pee? You got to be real about that thing. But let me try to show my brother some love. So he, my guy Milton, he dropped some comments on the post. Let me see if I can put this up. Yeah, just to show his piece. All right. So this is what Milton said right here. Shout out to my guy Milton. So he dropped this. He said, as men, we usually control the narrative, and we should lead in dating and in relationships. Okay, so that was his first point. Second point, he said, when these women talking that crazy, toxic, don't accept that ish. Teach a lesson. Okay, that was his second point. Third point, we need to move more. Let's see, we need to be more vocal with our sons, cousins, little homies, etc. The blind leading the blind is crazy. Okay, that's point number 3. He also said too many men are just not men. Dudes be feminine, sensitive, and weak. That's just, let's see, that's just the start to us being accountable. Okay, so this was Milton's piece right here. So he responded. I guess he's saying the fellas got to own this. This on the fellas. Okay, so Milton, you make some valid points here, man. You make some valid points. The one that I want to touch on is number 1. You said as men, we usually control the narrative. We should lead in dating and relationships. And to your point, Milton, I agree with you. Yep, we definitely should lead in dating and relationships. Now, when we get into narrative, I think that one's up in the air. Because at the end of the day, we have a large struggle or big struggle right now that is going on as to who's going to control the narrative. So I agree with you on this point. Yeah, the fellas definitely got to lead in the dating and the relationships. So you spot on with that. Let me go to Chloe. Chloe, you what you think about what Milton is saying? Is he on point or is he a little off? What you think?
No, I agree. I mean, so there is obviously a level of responsibility that men have to take. Right. If you guys want to be leaders and you want to be in the leadership category, then yeah, you do need to step out and lead. And some of the things that women are doing, you have to not stand for. He's right. But I think we are seeing some of that. I think it's been a slow acceptance. But I think we are seeing it. I think that's why we have coffee dates now. I think that's why men are saying no. I think that's why men are asking to go Dutch. I think that's a big part of it. Men are resisting the social norms or what has been the social norm of the past because they're realizing that some of these women is just they on that stuff. You know, they playing. So they don't want to be played anymore. And I agree with Donovan. Like, in order for a man to be able to successfully lead, the woman has to be willing to follow. If you have women, a man saying, okay, I'm going to take you out, let's go have coffee, or let's just grab a couple of drinks, and she's saying, no, that's not good enough. No, I don't want to do that. No, I mean, I go out to dinner. I want to be a nice dinner. Or now you have the emergence of the adventure date. Now women want you to go skydiving with them or some crazy mess, right. Like that kind of stuff. Like they want you to spend. It's all about you, your investment level. And I think that's crazy, right? Because I want to say, okay, you want him to do all of this investing in upfront, but what are you investing in? Please do not tell me it's your makeup and your hair. Because you're going to do your makeup and your hair regardless if you go on a date with this man or not. You do your makeup and your hair to go to work every day. You do your makeup and your hair to go to the grocery store. You might do your makeup and your hair to go to the gym. So please don't tell me that's your investment. It's weak. It's weak. So I agree. Yes, there's accountability that men should take. And we can always lay it at the men's feet and say, well, they're the leaders. And that is always going to be true. However, how can you protect someone? How can you lead someone when they don't want to submit to that authority or they don't want to submit to your leadership? That's always going to be a problem.
That's real.
Right? So even in this conversation, right? Ladies, like, come on now. Why you don't go on a date with somebody and you over there out drinking the man? He ordered the chicken, you ordered the lobster tails and the surf and turf.
Right.
And then get offended when he's like, I didn't even have a drink, but I had to pay for all your drinks, your surf and turf, and all I had was a chicken breast. Like
it make you think. It make you think, right here.
Come on, ladies. And then so a man is just supposed to be okay with spending all his money on you with no guarantees that you guys are even going to go on another date.
Right.
Like he's not dealing with the same inflation out in these streets that you're dealing with.
That's true too.
Like he don't have bills he have to pay, just like you do. It's crazy. It's like it's definitely giving entitlement.
No, that's real. Let me get some of these comments. See, shout out to my guy Jeff Conley in the building. He said women today think having a good job or owning a house or dressing nice is the end all of being a good woman. It's hundreds of y'all like that. What else are y'all doing to stand out? Okay, that's a valid point, man. Valid question right there. Let's see. My guy Scott McInnes in the building. He said women expect an exceptional man while being below the very standard that they demand. Yeah, fellas laying it out tonight, I see. Shout out to that comment. Let's see. Valencia said, listen, I'm 44 with 3 kids. A simple dinner. Let's relax and watch some sports. My upkeep is for me. Be generous with your time and emotions, not just money. Simple. Just like that. Just like that. See, she also said, I'm only ordering what I would pay for solo. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Simple as that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we got to be real with this thing. Yeah, we got to be real with this thing. And this is why I know that there has been a change. Yeah, let's say these guys are being more selective with how they spend their money now. And that is because I think the spending of their money has been abused. Yep, going out on these dates with these guys, knowing that you're not trying to do nothing with this guy. Yep, going out to places deliberately with no money in your pocket, hoping that some guy's going to buy you drinks while you're in the club and do all of that. Going out to dinner with these guys, blowing up the bill, knowing good and well you wouldn't blow up the bill if you was cutting that check. Like, we got to be honest about this thing. Yeah, these dudes care about their finances just like the ladies care about your finances. But it's like, we don't want to approach it that way. We want to look at it differently somehow. Don't make sense. We got to be honest about this thing. See, Scott said, let's see, because I've experienced a very small margin of women that have that thinking. As a man these days, it's hard to make that suggestion without someone feeling like it's an alternative motive. No, that's true, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. That's true. Yeah, I got one more I'm going to throw up here, man, and we're going to make our way up out of here. Let's say this was a little impromptu, but once again, it ties to this same topic.
I genuinely want to know why Black men make dating so difficult. They make it.
Hi, I have an answer, and it's simply because they don't have money. So I've been thinking about this a lot as it relates to my personal dating life. A lot of my friends who are Black women who are in their late 20s, early 30s, who have been struggling with dating, who prefer to date Black men, and have been doing it in comparison to my white peers and some peers outside of like other races, but specifically my white peers, as to why we all went to similar schools. We all all have similar educational backgrounds. We all work similar jobs. For bar, we would say we would live very similar lives, except I just oscillate in primarily Black spaces and they oscillate in primarily white spaces. With that said, I think it's because white people, but specifically white also men, are raised in the way that they have generational wealth, but a generational wealth mindset, meaning that they saw their parents get paired off and married, within their 20s. They have grandma's ring and heirlooms. They have a house that they know that they will inherit. They have a mindset knowing that even if they lose their job at Goldman Sachs or in tech or whatever, that they have this sort of privilege that they know that they'll always be fine and they know that they'll always be able to take care of their family. So even though they're in build mode, they're not necessarily worried that they would lose everything. And I think that mindset is different for Black men, meaning that they spend a lot of their 20s and even in their early 30s really trying to play a game of like financial catch up, really trying to get themselves established. And because they're playing that game, they play games in other areas, meaning that they don't necessarily take things seriously in terms of getting married, having kids, buying a home, starting family, because those things require money. And if you don't have it, they're not necessarily going to, just take those things seriously. And again, I was just really thinking as to like why I'm in my late 20s. A lot of my friends are in our late 20s or early 30s, and we're still like dating and on dating apps and dealing with games and all the shenanigans that come with dating Black men. But then when I look at the Jennies, the Tiffany's, and the whatevers of the world, a lot of them who I have worked with or work with, why they all, ironically enough, got engaged all at 27, 28, around the same time. And it felt kind of like sorority-like, very systematic. And again, it's that peer influence around them. If they see all their friends doing the things, and this goes for men too, they're going to go do those things as well. If they saw their parents do it, they're going to go do it as well. And I don't think Black men saw it from their fathers, and they also didn't necessarily and don't necessarily see it from their peers around them, so they don't also feel kind of that social influence to do those things, especially for Black men in major cities like a New York, LA, a Chicago, a Miami, maybe even Houston. Maybe in the South it might be a bit different. But yeah, there's more I can say on this, and I've been doing a lot of research. I'm actually going to write an article about it, just the differences and nuances between being a Black woman dating versus like my white contemporaries and their dating experiences. But yeah, the one factor that it boils down to is money. And if you don't have it, you're not able to progress forward in dating.
Man, so she...
Oh man. Go ahead, Chloe.
So, first and foremost, if you have generational wealth, if you come from a family that has generational wealth, then you're not in building mode. Let's be straight with that. Anything you make, you're not adding to the wealth. You're not building. That's a difference. You can't compare a marginalized group with a group that is the majority and not non-marginalized. It's not an equal comparison. And she talked a lot about the differences, which some of the things that she said were valid in the differences for financially, but it's not the same thing. She's talking about being in building mode. She said Black men playing financial catch up. That's not the same thing as building wealth. They already have wealth. So if you already have wealth, you're just increasing your wealth, right? When you talk about somebody being in build mode, that means they're starting at the bottom and they're building, right? They're trying to get there. Financial catch-up is not somebody who already has wealth. If you say these people already have some form of wealth, even if it's heirlooms, they have some form of wealth, right? That means they're not starting with nothing. They're not starting at the bottom. Most times Black men are literally starting at the bottom. The difference is the Tiffany's and whoever else she used, they don't have a problem marrying a white man with potential. They don't have a problem with that. Not every Caucasian man has generational wealth, although some of them have some form of it, right? So that works too, Becky, Rebecca. But yeah, like it's disingenuous to me for her to compare Black men to white men when they're the difference with the culture, the difference with the circumstances, the differences with the environment. It's just not comparable, really. And so I felt like that's unfair. She talked about the reasons why they're different. She talked about the differences, but she didn't talk about the reasons why they're different, right? Are we really going to sit here and pretend like the Black man and the white man started on equal footing? We're really going to do that? Because what you do when you imply that the white man is got this going on, got that going on, and the Black man is in financial catch-up mode, is you imply that Black men are somehow not measuring up. And that's the issue that I have with that. Because if this was an equal playing field and then Black men were still lagging behind, then I would be on board with this train of thought, right? I'd be like, dang, what y'all doing? Come on, pick it up. But it's not an equal playing field, ladies. We cannot dismiss the discrimination. We can't dismiss the fact that even if the Black man begins to level up, he still has a curve. There's a steep financial curve. There's a difference.
Right.
You can take some of the most successful Black men and they're still behind their white male counterparts because that curve is very steep. So it's not okay to compare. Second of all, I wanted to make this point. A lot of the times when our parents have worked to put us in a position where we are going to these schools, similar schools, and growing up in the similar neighborhoods, a lot of times our parents have worked really hard so that they can make our life experience better than theirs. So the generational wealth that they could be building, they're using it for life experience. So a lot of times they're paying that high tuition for you to go to the same schools as Becky and Tiffany. That's where their money's going. So that wealth that Becky and Tiffany's family is still going to have because they can afford it without having to struggle. Your family is using that money to make a better life for you. So even though you're at the same school with Tiffany and Becky, you're not in the same situation. And so this is why I feel like it's disingenuous for us to be comparing these situations. And here's my thing. Once again, a Caucasian woman will absolutely meet her man in college. At that point, he's not working. And if he is working, it's just a job that's getting him through school, right? His family may have some type of generational wealth or may have some money behind them or something like that. Maybe he had help with his loans. He may have even been able to have his entire education paid for. He may not even have any debt from school, right? That's another leg up. A lot of us as Black people, we have to have loans and financial aid. So we usually come out of school with debt that some of them are able to avoid, right? She'll marry him. She'll marry Steve. She'll marry Steve, even though Steve haven't found a job yet. But Steve might be, he went to school to be an engineer. He hasn't had a job yet, but she knows that one day Steve finna take off and catapult. So she's okay saying yes to Steve's engagement ring in her 20s because she knows what Steve's gonna be. Black women don't marry potential anymore. Y'all don't marry potential anymore. Y'all don't want potential. Y'all want this man to already be established. You have made that very, very clear. Y'all don't marry potential. You don't want to build a bear. You're not building with a man. All of the other crazy stuff y'all say. So you want to know why she's married at 27, 26, 25? Because she was willing to see the potential in that man. She knows he's smart. She knows he's got a good head on his shoulder. She knows he's going to win in life. So she's like, I'm going to go head on and I'm going to invest now. I'm not going to try to wait at the finish line and then hope that he'll pick me at the finish line when he has more options.
That's real.
That's why they also get married earlier. Black women, we're told, oh, we need to build our careers first. We got to get our fully educated first. We got to have something going on for ourselves first. And we want these men to have everything that we have plus because they have to lead us, right? So they can't be where we at. They have to be above. So let's just talk about it. Who's really ruined the dating pool with their unrealistic expectations? Let's just be honest about this thing. I think that a lot of women are sitting in the judgment seats hypocritically. We sit in the judgment seats and we don't deserve the right to judge. And then to have the nerve and the audacity to compare Black men and white men and say, well, this is the problem with Black men because white men are doing this. Okay, how would you like it if we turned the tables on you and said, well, this is what's going on with white women? They're leaving college with a degree and a ring. They got their degree, but it didn't stop them from getting married. It hasn't stopped them from being successful in life.
Janice.
So I'm just sitting over here saying, hey, I'll let somebody else have it, but I just think it's disingenuous.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Vince. Vince, you want to say something, man?
Yeah, I'm in the parking lot at Planet Fitness, so I don't know if my signal is bad or not, but I had to jump back on. How I sound? I'm good.
No, you sound good. Go ahead, man.
Chloe, you are 100% correct. And
is.
I think she could have took that from both ends because the ladies are the same way. They're waiting till they get themselves together. They're not seriously dating. And I'm seeing this more with the younger generation. You're right, Chloe. They this whole I want to be happy thing, they don't want to be unhappy for 5 minutes. People want to talk about, oh, it's cheating, no, it's this. A lot of these marriages not ending because of cheating anymore. It's finances. It's I got my degree. I'm a social worker. I'm a master's in social work. He didn't graduate from college, but he working somewhere, but he can't keep a job. He can't do this. He can't do that. I'm the one that's holding everything down. I'm the one picking up the baby, but there's no building together. I just had, like I told you, I had a cousin that just got divorced. I was like, well, why can't y'all make a plan together? Y'all young. I mean, they were 31, 32, 2-year-old. The guy wasn't, he wasn't out here cheating. He wasn't beating over head with a hammer. It was just they was having, some issues about him. I said, well, why don't, because now that you were the breadwinner, to me, it seemed like he stood by her while she was going to school. But then when she got her money up, I'm like, well, okay, well, maybe it's his turn now to go back to school to increase his earnings. But, I don't know. Then I think that, and then I tell my sons, I said, get yourself together, because these women ain't staying. And I'm sorry. Don't get your little feelings hurt, because you think she in love with you, and y'all, that's your first little piece of what's what. Because once she start getting that check, and she start being around some other men that she can't really get, but they flirting with her, trying to have sex with her, she might leave you for them. Because she thinks she could get something better. Ain't that she gonna get something better? Or it's a whole thing now where you gotta understand that our generation has been raised with single women. We don't have really no value for men. We don't have this whole, I'm gonna stick it out. We got this whole, I can do it by myself. I seen my mama do it. I seen my auntie do it. I seen my grandmama do it. And if he ain't making me happy, I'm not gonna do it.
Right.
I mean, and they will blow up their whole family. I said, well, don't you care about the kids? But they feel like, shoot, I didn't. And then I think some of them be sideways jealous, because the kid got a father and they didn't have one.
That's real.
I mean, it might sound crazy, but I think that's a part of it.
That's real, man. I can see that.
I'm a little jealous because, my daughter has a father and I didn't have one. And I don't really see the value in you because I didn't see the value in my father. And I'm telling you, that's a big part of it. That's why I tell you all the time that, Remy comes from a married situation. Her mother and father been married for 40 years. She's seen the ups and the downs. So she don't have this, oh, if we going through a little thing for a couple months, a week, a year. Shoot, it's been people that's been, not on the same page for years and they still married and they got through it.
Right.
But people don't want to do it. I think, we got to, I'm a true believer of just keeping it real. I told my sons, get yourself together because these ladies are not staying.
Yeah. No, that's valid, man. That's valid. I see we got Janice, we got JTB. What's going on with John? If y'all don't want to say anything, I see y'all both on mute. You want to say something, John?
Yeah, I was just trying to what was the main question again? I would look to the conversation. I didn't want to throw it off rail.
No, you good. Yeah, no, the main question was just basically have women ruin the dating scene. So basically, do the women have some accountability in what's going wrong in this dating situation?
Yeah, I add something. I think the majority of dating has been damaged by women, but I think men played I think men played a part in it too. I think women have been allowed to have expectations that are unrealistic, and we as a society entertain those for too long. Going way back into the '60s, I guess the height of the second, what would it be, the second wave? I think it would be second or third wave. I guess it'd be second wave or third wave. I get confused now of feminism, and I think that has played into this. I can go to work, I can make the money, I can bring home the bacon, I can cook it, I can take care of my husband, I can take care of the kids, I can do it all, and that's just unrealistic. No one can do it all. No one, no woman, no man can do it all by themselves. But we entertained that for 40, 50 years as men in society. We entertained that women can do it all. We promoted it. We taught our wives, our daughters, our granddaughters the same mantras, crazy conversation. And so I think they play a large part in buying into it, and we supported it just as well. But I think they destroyed it and so forth. Now no one, and because we did for 50 years, we no longer value marriage, the roles of marriage, the roles of relationships. We see dating as just hookup culture. I don't even think there's dating anymore. I think it's just hookup culture. It's just women just have sex and they move on to the next one. Men have sex, they move on to the next one. So I'm not trying to get off subject here. But I think we destroyed it all when I fall back. I don't want to change the whole conversation.
Okay, no, I appreciate that, man. Janice, I saw you come off mute. You want to say something?
I think it's both men and women. I don't think it could just be woman or it could just be man. I mean, it could be the government. It can be a lot of things that were put onto Black people. I just know me personally when I'm trying to date now. Me personally, while I'm dating now, as a woman that did have a good father and a mother, like we're married and my whole family was married, it's harder for me being single and trying to date men now. Like it's very hard because I understand the family aspect of things, and they were usually raised by their mama. They don't like their daddy. They have no understanding of what family is. So for them, they're always, it feels like they think of whoever's the woman that can give them the best hit or gives them the best orgasm. That's the woman that they want to be with. And it just confuses me. Like, like you're not going to be happy,
But do you think they just want that in the moment, or do they want that long term? Because there's a difference.
I don't think they understand what the difference anymore. Like they don't understand. And especially women that could probably do all them things to a whole extreme. She probably been doing it to a lot of men. So it's like, like I had one guy, he was like, well, if I ever go on a trip with a woman, she got to give me head. A lot of men say that. Well, I'm not going on a trip with you. Oh, well, then you're not my type. So what do y'all want then? Y'all want a woman that's out in the streets loose? Or do y'all want somebody that's going to be home with y'all? Like, I don't think they can kind of separate the sexual aspect of things for me. It's the sexual aspect of Black men that I'm really struggling with. I don't understand it.
Okay. Go ahead, Vince.
I'm going to chime in on this one as an older man that was dating. Sometimes that's all it is. Because I think a lot of people don't really realize is that when you're older, I got kids, you got kids, you working, I'm working, you over there, I'm over here. I mean, and really a lot of women don't really understand, and men too, I guess, but women don't understand that you ladies are busy. You got kids, you running this one over here, you running this one over there, you got to spend time with them, you got to spend time with your family. So really a guy in my age, like, well, really, all we kind of good for is sex. Because y'all already got a family. So, not you, Janice, but I'm just saying, some of us been married before. And men look at that like, well, you had these situations and what happened? Just like Remy did with me. Well, you've been engaged 3 times. What's wrong with you? And I had to explain. But a lot of times people be like, well, that shouldn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Your past matters. So when you go into these situations, especially as older women, a guy will look at it and be like, well, I mean, she really ain't got no time like that anyway. Because y'all say, oh, well, we'll make time for what we want to make time for. But if you got a couple kids, you working full time, you got a 12-year-old and a 6-year-old, and you working part-time over here and you working full-time over there, what really is our value but besides a little Netflix and chill or a little sex? Unless our intention is to find a wife. And I understand that's because when I started dating Remy, I was intentionally looking for a wife. So you got to intentionally be presenting wife. You can't be presenting girlfriend hookup, and then when he play you like girlfriend hookup, oh no, I want you to treat me like a wife. Or if he's presenting that, oh, I want you to treat me like I'm your husband. No, if you present date, then he's gonna treat you like a date. You know, so I understand it's very hard because I mean our lives are so convoluted, and that's why I teach mine early on. Don't wait this long. Don't wait until you got 2 or 3 kids and 2 or 3 ex-husbands and 4 engagements and a mortgage and your own type of savings. It's almost impossible to try to blend it together. So sometimes I think we got to look at it, and it might be just, okay, well, maybe we should just kick it a date like that because a lot of people ain't really ready for what they say they ready for.
That's real. Go ahead,
I
Johnny.
wanted to say another thing I've ran into now dating a lot of men are single parents. I don't know what's going on. Women, they leaving their kids with the man. It's a whole different beast out here. So that's a whole nother issue. I've been having an issue with that because now the man is the man and the woman in the house. And he talking about don't mess up his kitchen or don't do, it's like, wait.
Can I ask a question? Johnny's, Johnny's, if a man has a kid and a woman has a kid, is it the same expectation for other person dating?
What do you mean?
If a man is dating as a single father and a woman dating as a single mother, okay, for example, if you are dating a man who has a kid, do you have the same expectation for you that he has for dating you?
I don't know. I mean, I talked to only thing I can say is what they say is a lot of women don't like to date men they don't like to date single men with their kids. Like they actually have their kids, you know. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of men have told me that they don't like dating men with kids. Me personally, it doesn't bother me because I'm a mother. I was raised in a family, so men with kids don't bother me. So I don't know like what you mean my expectation is to let me come in and eventually be a woman. Like if you don't want me to do any of the womanly duties that I want to do, then it's probably not going to work.
You know what, Johnny's? I have seen women say that too. Like just like if you watch, I mean, I watch a lot of the dating shows or whatnot, but I've seen women say that too. Like they will say they will have children. Like you said, they will actually have children and will say, but I don't want a guy who has any kids, which I think is insane. Like, so I get where John is going. It's obviously, if we can say that, man, then we can admit that means that the expectations for a man with a child and being a single dad is obviously different. Because as women, not you, but as some of these women out here are saying, well, I got kids, yeah, but I don't want him to have none. So that obviously means that automatically your expectations, your feelings towards a man that has a kid is different than how a man would look at you with children, right? Because most a man, definitely. not all men, I know some men don't want to date women with children, but most men who do have a kid will say, well, I got a kid, so how can I say she can't have it, right? Whereas women, though, are saying, yeah, I might have kids, but I don't want him to have none.
But also,
and then the end result's going to be while we're dating or getting to know each other, even if we do get together, the 9 times out of 10, he's going to take care of both kids anyway. Because we're not speaking specifically to Johnny's, but just in general, I was raised. My dad remarried, and not to keep it so specific, but just in general, the stepmom doesn't really treat the man's kid like her kids. Not evil, not hateful. It's just her kid's always gonna come first. But a man would treat his stepkids just like his kids in general. That's why I was asking, is the expectation going to be the same if dating?
Well, I think two things there's an evolution going on with this. This wasn't just common that women were leaving their kids with the father and leaving off, you know? It's been usually the women have been doing it by themselves, but now women are kind of changing and mimicking some behaviors, and now they're doing it. So I think it's just going to take time and evolution to kind of figure that out. I think it's just something of evolution going on. It doesn't make it okay. I think it's very dangerous, but a lot of that's going on. Women are leaving their kids and they going to party in Cancun with their new boo.
Yeah.
That's some interesting stuff right there. That is some interesting stuff. Yeah, and I think part of that evolution is just the fact that I think we are, or people out here are starting to see some value in, especially sons being with their fathers in some of these situations. So that may be playing into some of this evolution, you know what I'm saying, that we're seeing as far as, you know, the kids being with the dad versus the mom, you know, versus how it traditionally used to be. So I'm sure that's playing in there as well. Let me get a couple of these comments real quick. I'm not going to keep us on here all night because we're going to get ready to get out of here. Let's see. Donovan said, the theory is a man with kids won't be able to give the woman he's dating all his free time and attention.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
I agree with that one. I think women, we've been single parents for so long that we've kind of perfected it. Like I can pick up my kids from school, do homework, and be out in the streets with you in like 2 hours. We've perfected the single dating. Men are so new to this. When they have kids by themselves, and men don't usually build a community around them either. Like women, we go to church, we go to this, we have groups, we have a whole community. They're usually doing it by themselves. They don't have that backup. They don't build these communities because that's what women generally do for men. We build a community around men in our marriage and our relationships. They don't have that.
So actually, I think I see that a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I hear that, Johnny's, and that for some women that might be true, right? But I think for a lot of women, it really just comes down to what Kenyatta said, and that's they're selfish. A lot of women don't want that man to share his time. They don't want him to have anybody that he has to share his time with. Because women are very bold. They will get on these shows and they will say, my kids come first. I need a man that understands that my kids come first. But on the flip side, when you ask them who should be the priority, they feel like it should be them. When that man has to choose, it should be them. They will say, my kids are the priority. But then when you ask them a question, well, if, you know, something is going on with your child or and almost all of those scenarios, they would say, well, I'm the priority. It should be me. And so when these women are saying they don't want to date a single father, some of them are saying for some of the reasons that you've mentioned, Johnny's. But a lot of them are saying that because they are selfish and they don't want that man to have to go off and be in some other place because his kids are there. Or they don't want that man to not be able to date them how they want to be dated because he's got a kid to think about. It's okay for them, right? But it's not okay for him.
Even to the aspect, it's I don't think it's so much selfish for a woman to think like that. I think it's about survival. And that's why I say this, because if you look at it, most women that are raised traditional or think traditional, they understand that a man's resources is to provide for resources, provision, protection is to provide for his wife and his offsprings. So she see outside kids as something to take away from her kids. So it's almost an instinct of, I need these resources to take care of me and my offsprings. I don't know if that's selfish.
That's selfish.
What they call it? Preservation.
That's selfish.
Okay, but let me say that's why. Okay, let me say this though. Let me get the context of that. Mm-hmm. Because I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to make the best of a worse situation now. because we promoted dating and we've had sex outside of marriage, we've had kids outside of marriage. We're now trying to make the best of a bad result. And so what we're doing is we're bringing multiple kids. We're bringing kids into a mixed situation, and we're trying to make it work. And what we're saying is that a woman shouldn't be selfish and want to take care of another woman's kids when it's instinctively for her to care about her kids. What we should be promoting is dating is for the young and not the old. And when you're dating attention and you get married young and you stay married throughout life. That way you avoid these problems. The problem is when you divorce and you divorce with a kid, now you got to bring problems into it again. And we're trying to make this work with baggage that we're not supposed to make it work with.
Agreed.
Yeah, I want to say a little something, Chloe. I think that also that I know Janice is talking about a situation, but that's a small majority. Most kids are most women are the custodial parent. The men are usually the weekend. So it's not the same thing. A man with kids dating is not the same thing as a woman with kids dating because those kids are with her all the time. The guy's kids, I don't care if he's a great father, if he doesn't have custodial parenting, those kids are not with him all the time. If he gets with that woman, he has to consider her kids in every situation he does. If he buys a house, if those kids are under 12 or whatever, he has to consider a room for those kids. If his kids doesn't live with him, he doesn't have to consider that. So there's a big difference with a man who's not the custodial parent because a stepmother is a stepmother. A stepfather usually has to play the role of the stepfather and the father because most of the time the father is not there. That's in most cases.
So, to Janice's point, though, it's actually changed. To Janice's point, is actually changing though.
But that's like saying that homosexuality is a big thing. It's not a big thing. I mean, we like to major on the minors, but it's still more heterosexual men. It's still more heterosexual women. I think we get off into these nuances and we concentrate on the nuances instead of how the situation really is all I'm saying. So I think that also with Janice's point is that, and women don't really understand that men want to be number one or they want a great situation. So the first time they see, okay, I can't really say nothing to her kids or she has her life built up and I really can't really, because a man wants to be a leader in all situations, a real leader. So a lot of ladies don't understand if he has to come in and play second to anything, that's a bad situation because he's going to feel like, okay, if I can't really be the leader I need to be, then all we can do is have sex. And I think ladies don't really think about that point that, you know what, my situation almost has to be perfect for the type of man that I want. And me and Remy talked about this very early. We were like, these kids are our kids. I treat her kids like I treat my kids. And I'm talking about biological because I do love them like they're mine, but I'm saying for this discussion, I can talk to them like I talk to my son, my biological son, and I give his ass the business. And I give their ass the business. I don't have to, I can't say this because I'm not their real father. No, I am their daddy because I take care of them. So I think that we have to have these conversations. It can't just be, these men just want sex because that's all they really think they can offer, really. If you already got your life built up, I mean, come on. Men, I think women don't really think about that part because, men are not stupid like a lot of women would think that we use our brain in a lot of times. And if we feel like we can't get the result that we want, then we'll take the sex.
Yeah, but I think this is the thing, though, Vince. I think, just being honest, I think the ladies, they do know that. Yeah, they do know that these men are not dumb. But see, I think what happens is they still will try to leverage or take advantage of these guys. And I think that's where the problem comes in. And then typically, and I'm just, like I said, I'm going off the first video that we used. Typically what will happen is when that does not go that way, when the situation is not genuine, when the intentions aren't there, when the guy is being used, then when he rejects that, then he gets labeled as broke. Yep, and that's the outcome that we see. If we go back to the videos that I played earlier, that was the final outcome. The man gets labeled as broke. He gets labeled as less than. He gets labeled as he needs to catch up. He gets labeled as he needs to level up. Yep, and that's why I say we got to take some ownership. Yeah, this dating scene has definitely, listen, I know we've touched a couple topics in this conversation, but this dating scene has definitely been ruined. Yeah, but we can't sit here and act like it has not. Yep, our behavior and our mindsets have helped ruin this dating scene. Yep, using these guys for their financial resources has helped ruin this dating scene. Using these women for their bodies has helped ruin this dating scene. But we don't want to own that. Yeah, we just want to keep going as business as usual. And that's not going to work. Yep, to John's point. Yeah, we now at a point where we done made a mess, and now we want to try to make the best of the mess. And that ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
So now that's why we see what we see now. That's why when some of these guys go out on these dates, that's why they talking coffee dates now. Because y'all was taking advantage of them and playing with them before and playing over them before and using them. That's why they talking that now. Yep, now they being more selective with who they deal with. Now we seeing ladies say they can't get the hollers that they used to. Yeah, because some of these dudes is being more selective now because some of the ladies was playing with these dudes. Now you done
men are traumatized. They traumatized at this point.
They are. They've been scarred now. But then we want to be upset. We want to be upset at the outcome of playing around with these dudes in the earlier years, because now the dudes are saying, I'm not about to be played no more. So now we want to call them broke. Now we want to call them cheap. Now we want to do all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, they just being selective and they looking at the situation differently. Yep, I said it earlier. Go ahead, John.
I don't like the word traumatized, because I think what men are great at doing, we're great at looking at a situation, determining whether it needs to correct it, and then correcting it. We observe and then correct. It's not traumatized.
I mean, what would be what's the definition of trauma that makes it so different than what you're saying? Like, I don't get it.
I think trauma. When I think of trauma, maybe I'm ignorant to the definition of trauma. But I saw it as a negative
behaviors that aren't wanted, patterns of experiences through life. There's a pattern. It's not like, or it might not happen. It might happen one time, but it's a pattern of like bad experiences that, it makes you. The human brain is like, I remember this situation. I remember it, and it may not be, but it's something in that situation that's a reminder to the brain that this happened to us. We didn't like how it felt, and we don't want to deal with it again.
Okay. If you simply saying that, then I won't label the word traumatized. Then I just use traumatized in 2024 as a negative connotation with it now, because I think how most people use it as if they've been triggered, they've been hurt, they can't think in a healthy way. So that's what made me when I heard you say trauma, that's what I heard. So
and if you look at Black people, our issues make sense that a lot of us went through trauma. Our grandparents are.
Correct.
It's we're fighting. We're going on dates with two people that got trauma issues. Like, how does that work? How do y'all have a conversation?
Good point. Well, man, I'm not gonna keep us on here all night, Lester. I know this was impromptu, spur of the moment type of conversation, but yeah, I think it was worth the conversation. Like I said, just looking at some of the videos and conversations that I've seen recently. At the end of the day, we got to take some ownership in the downfall of this dating scene that we are living in right now. Yeah, we got to own our piece in this thing. We got to take some accountability. And listen, we got to adjust our mindset. Yep, at the end of the day, the common goal or the end goal is to bring people together. But if we got all of this playing and this fugazi stuff and this manipulation and gaslighting and all this other nonsense mixed up in the process, how do we expect to get anywhere? Yep. How do we expect to get to the point where we can literally tie a man and a woman together successfully for the long term? Like, how do we expect to get there? So, man, at the end of the day, I think it's going to start with our mindset changing and how we looking at things. Like I said, then at the end of the day, somebody made this point earlier. I gotta pull it back up. Where did that go? Kenyatta's dropped it. She says selfish behavior. Yeah, I think that plays a huge piece or huge part in this issue. Yeah, we move so selfishly now. Yeah, we don't consider the other person. We don't consider the other person's finances or their situation or what they got going on or responsibilities or anything like that. Yeah, we just move and how we want to move, and then, you know, call the person somehow less than because they don't want to align with it or keep up with it or don't want to conform to it for that matter. And like I said, selfish has never really got us anywhere when it comes to relationships, and especially when it comes to marriages. So, man, at the end of the day, I feel like we just got to change our mindset, man, or none of this is going to work. Let me get some closing, and we're going to get out of here. I ain't going to keep us on here all night. Johnny, you want to say something before we get out of here?
Well, Price, for 2024, I am going to be very selfish with my vagina. That is what I've decided for 2024. So Johnny's will be selfish with that, and I'm okay with that. And I'm letting know up front, like, as I'm getting older, I don't want people touching me that I don't know. Like, I just don't know you. You shouldn't be touching me, and that's just what it is. I think women need to kind of promote that. This is what it is. Right. And then men also need to have discipline and not be just messing with if a girl got an attitude, why are you taking her on a date? If she ain't got her kids, why are you taking her on a date? If you ain't met her mama and seen that her mama not crazy, why are you taking her on a date? Stop taking all these crazy women on dates, and then I gotta come and I gotta hear your stories. And I'm like, well, I don't do that. But now he's traumatized and he's thinking all women do it. So my word is selfish for 2024 because ain't nobody getting none.
You know, Janice, you something else. You something else. Chloe, you want to say something before we get out of here?
I mean, I approve of that message.
Sure,
I've been asking y'all since COVID to lift up a moral standard, a high moral standard for yourselves. So I approve of that message very much, very much. But yeah, I think so. About the topic, women ruined the dating scene, right? I think after having this conversation, we all understand that there is some accountability on both sides, right? Like, it doesn't all fall on one side. I think we understand that after actually having the conversation. And I think, you know, we can talk about old men and sex, but the truth is, I hear just as many women. I know Johnny's made the point that men ask for certain sexual favors or whatever, and they expect those things. And I'm not saying that they don't, but I hear just as many women saying they're not even going to seriously consider a dude until they see what he's working with. And that's one of the criteria. And I'm not talking about young women. I'm talking about some of these women are our age and older saying that this man needs to be bringing something. And so I think the issue is we're all lacking some discipline in the sexual area. We all need to be more disciplined. So I approve of Johnny saying, you know what, I'm not into that. And I appreciate that. And I think we all need to be that way. And I think that if we can honestly sit back and look at ourselves first, I ask this every single show, because without us being able to have some accountability or do some self-reflection, then we're going to stay stuck in this loop of he did it or she did it. Right. Earlier, my good sis asked about the title, and she was just saying that the title was sad because it's blaming, right? And I agree. It is sad that we're still blaming, but unfortunately, it's what's happening. So when we title our shows relevantly. And if it's what the streets is saying, then that's what we're talking about. And I think that, you know, maybe we can address this for the last time, because I've seen people, you know, kind of take issue with the titles. Listen, This show runs from no topic. So if you see a title and you think, oh, that's terrible or that's horrible, come to the show and let's have the conversation. Because if you don't agree, we probably need to hear that. If you agree, we need to hear that too. It's about it's about drawing you in to have the conversation. Just because we put a title up don't mean that's how we feel. It means that's what we're seeing. So if you don't agree with that, then come bring your wisdom, come bring your insight, and let's have the conversation. I would like to see in 2024 we be more selfish with our offenses. Stop getting so dang on offended all the time. That's what I would like to see in 2024. Because we played a video where the woman was blaming the man, and then we played another video where a woman was blaming the man. So it's the common denominator here. And I'm always going to speak to women because I'm a woman and that's what I do. So come, let's have the conversation. Don't be triggered by the title. Come join us and have the conversation and share your opinion. That's what we're here for. Also, I would say this. In 2024, we're not tolerating nobody else coming on the show talking about, y'all don't never talk about the men. That's a cap. Because we just had a show last week talking about men. And guess what? Y'all ain't come. So I don't want to hear no more talk about our titles. And I don't want to hear no more talking about we don't talk about men. Because if you're not going to come to the show, and if you're not going to speak on the topic, then learn the spirit of the hush. Sincerely, the management.
There it is. There it is. Well, man, like I said, we appreciate everybody hopping on with us tonight. Like I said, I know this was an impromptu show. But like I said, we had to touch that topic real quick. Like I said, that is definitely a problem. And at some point, we got to change what we're doing. That's the only way it's going to get fixed, man. Simple as that. But man, like I said, definitely join us every Wednesday night. Like I said, it's Monday, but definitely join us every Wednesday night on Candid Convos. We go live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. But man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we will catch you guys on the next one.